Hello and welcome to Pillars of Eternity. Right, so we spoke with Simok. He wants us to kidnap a baby, and I have nothing against that. Everyone dies. A young man approached me with a swift and purposeful stride. While I have never met him before, he has the same stern white look as Simok. He doesn't speak until he is right next to you. When he does, his voice is quiet. Wait, I saw you speaking to father. He has asked you to sacrifice Vale, hasn't he? He grits his teeth. Maybe he's right about the three-tusked stagler growing weak, but if we do this, the price of a straight, it isn't worth it. The tribes have survived this long because we stuck together. Kid, are you sure that over there is your father? Do you have another idea? There is a herbalist amongst the overrats of the Golden Glow. Blantha, that heir's name. They all gather southeast of here, by the river. She could brew a poison. Simak wouldn't know the difference until it's too late. There is a family resemblance. Why not just return the child to her birth parents? It's complicated. The child sent to be fostered by another tribe isn't allowed to return. Unfortunately, explaining that we are shielding her from my father would make matters much worse for both our tribes. Let me guess, if Simok dies, you're the next in line. It's not like that. The Row have already determined that my soul isn't strong enough. Whoever follows my father, it won't be me. Simok is right. I am going to help him. He hisses, dropping a hand on his weapon. Savage. I will... With another glance at Simok's chamber, he backs towards the door. I'm warning you now, Istmore. Stay away from the Vale. I am my father's son, in least one regard. This honestly seems like a stupid idea to do, yet maybe I will listen to the boy. Let me think. I'm gonna toss a die. On 4, 5 and 6 I'm gonna spare the baby. On 1, 2 and 3 the child dies. 5. Guess I will have to spare him. Let's go back in there and kill the old man. Lyras has asked me to kill you. I almost wish you spoke true. Lyras doesn't have the ferocity to plot something like that. If he did, I would not lack a proper heir now. I should kill you, you know. Surrounded by my best warriors, that would be unwise. Your dynasty ends now then. Yeah, your best warriors. Let's see how long they will last. I won't need to rest after this, though. Maybe. Let's see. Can you take him out? My wolf will take out your stanglers. Heather will take you out. Sagami, aim for this one. Alot. Use this. Blind this. Still alive? Ouch. Still alive. This one's mine. I'm sorry, are you confused? No, he's somewhat frightened. Oh dear, is that your best warrior's dead? Let's use that.
Hey.
Finish them off. Oh, Sagani's fallen. That's something rare. Usually because she's a ranged unit, but whatever. Use that again.
I'm here.
These are...
He is strong, isn't he? Heather, fix yourself up, mate.
How?
Well, that's better. Really. A little late for the party, but I don't mind.
For my friends.
Major adventure completed. The Devil of Korak returned to the stronghold with experience and spoils.
Ready, Watcher.
I do need to rest now. Ooh.
Zawa is ready. I will.
Nice and quiet.
The gods really wanted that baby to survive. Let us look at you in the eye and gives you a slow nod.
I will walk unseen.
I'm here.
I bet he was gonna attack me
At once.
if I went to poison the baby or whatever it was. Right outside the house. He was gonna wait for me, and once I entered, or once I left it with the baby,
Quiet now.
he would have killed me. Whatever. Virtue guides your hand, Carrot. Sure. Virtue. Okay, let's ask that woman for the bird once more. I am pretty certain that she will give it to me. I can be very persuasive. Blood sense. Anyway. Did you
How
kill
may I
anyone accidentally? Cat's Claw. Haven't seen you before, have I? Now that's a big shield. This impressively large shield boasts a relief of Death's Clef, an important Glamphatian landmark. Death's Clef was the site of a barrow battle between the Glamphatians and Direwood. During the turbulent period before the 10-year treaties were signed, the cracks and caves along the cliff provided the Glamphatians with plentiful cover from which to stage their attacks against Direwood, allowing them to duck out the sight of a movement. But pretty much given this unnatural advantage, the Glamphatians succeeded in driving Direwoodians from the region. You know, if you were wearing Redrick's shield right now, not shield, armor, let's take a look. Still looks stupid with that, anyway. Yeah, that shield would fit him well. Put the helm on. Let's give you a different helmet then. No, not this one. This one actually looks very good on you. Just saying. Nice. Does remove portion of your head though, your hair. If it didn't have horns, this would look amazingly well. Sure, that looks amazing. Anyway, let's give you that, no. And we don't need the shield anymore. You have a soul-bound shield for yourself. So we need to kill 20 more enemies. Well, that's gonna happen. Where do you even reach? I mean, it doesn't say. It doesn't
You must
show
gather your party before venturing forth.
anything on the map. Okay, let's go and take the pet. And yes, I know that's kind of brutal, but you know, we spare the baby. I have nothing against doing one good deed a day. One. What does that keep happening? Anyway, go guys. Wasn't here, right? I actually don't know where to look for the bird. Stop right there. Just what do you think you're doing? Blagman the Chanter, send me, of Old Song, send me, to get a specimen of this type of bird. Animals aren't ours to cage. I don't think you or Delaman should have it. The bird should be free. Well, it's not like the bird is a prisoner. I mean, he has a little bit of room to fly in there. You just want me to set the beaker free, so you can snatch him and sell him to Dalaman. Dalaman isn't getting the bird. I'll release it somewhere safe. You won't have to worry about Mr. Beaker being unhappy. This will keep me up all night. Just take him, bring him into the forest and set him free. Now be gone. I'm not gonna give him Mr. Beaker. Alright. Old song, Owl's Leash. I think he was in Old Song. Need to go back to Cadnua. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. No, not Urwa. Don't remember where he was actually. My traveling companion, yeah. I know this one. Court. Council of Stars. Stuff. Wow, that's a lot of quests. You know, you should really have the completed one in a different tab. Old Song. This is Old Song, right? Yep. Was he here? Ooh, mushrooms. The hunters look away, scorn bubbling under his coat, the scratch.
Builder's wisdom to you.
I spoke with Lancy. She said eating songbird is just a superstition. It won't help you sing. Nonsense. I know a man who swears by the practice. This has been part of how master chanters refine their craft for ages. Surely a wise woman such as herself would be familiar with the folklore. And I know that I speak of time-honored truth. She is indeed a wise woman. So why are you so eager to dismiss her opinion? Well, I think she just said that because she has a soft spot for birds. Besides, songbirds were what the chanters of old would eat, quite tempered with tradition. I have also spoken with Onlin, and he informs me that you're chasing mere superstitions. What? Onwin said that? All the other chanters that told me otherwise. Delam's jaw clenched shut as he folded his arms with a hug. I'm sure that every chanter that told you this story also dreamed of a quick and easy path to excellence. Yes, it does sound like wishful thinking, when you put it that way. Thank you for setting me straight on this. I feel silly for having asked you in the first place. Thank you, my friend. I don't need rare songbirds. I just need to find some inspiration within. If you are to pardon me. I lost them. So I gathered all these birds. I could have, decorated my castles with beautiful songs from rare birds. And he just says, nah, I don't need them anymore, and I have to throw them away? I have nothing against releasing birds. Okay, I'm kind of annoyed. Right. I'll go back to Cadnu and rest. bloody hell.
I must say, I'm impressed.
Sure you are. I need to take Haravis with me on the next one.
Yes?
Greenstone Staff. I honestly don't want that. But I'm gonna leave you home. I'm gonna take Haravis with me because you're the only one who's actually expendable right now. So let's read about your staff, shall we? Okay. A twisted piece of wood grips the glowing Adra chunk with root-like thread rays. Something about the staff resonates in your soul when you hold it. You hear a distant whisper of winds through the trees. An Adirian explorer near Grandpad came across a raw Adra pillar, near what is now Tholos Vale. Having never seen such a display of living Adra, he thought immediately of the Syra that houses the soul of Adirian nobilities, and decided that these pillars must surely hold something magnificent. He chiseled the chunk of Adra from the globe and brought it back to Dunran for further study. The Adra chunk was placed in a staff and given to Lady Urugaf. Urkvoud, okay, and given to Lady Urukvoud, one of the Farkyoing's favorite courtiers. Lady Urukvoud was a talented abeler in the magical arts and infamous at court for her clever but outstanding spellwork. However, the greenstone staff was her undoing. She accidentally summoned a blight. The creature was quick dispatched, but not before it had ruined the Imperial Courtier's finest robes. Though many historians believe it was the Farkyoing's ultimate chuckle that doomed Lady Roglang, the damage was done, and the property demanded her removal from the court. Lord and Lady Roglang were sent to distant but comfortable estate in the young colonial capital of New Dauren. Despite her husband's protest, Lady Gurnvoud refused to surrender the greenstone staff. Rumors of the greenstone staff's existence and the Adra originally stolen for Earl Glampad eventually reached Glampathan tribes. The subject became controversial grievances for the Anfatha and stumbling block for Admon Habreth. Oh, Admon himself. When resentments flared over the flooring of the 10-year treaties, Hadras employed a team of Glampathan mine hunters to investigate and plunder the ruins. When they found evidence of the Farkyoing's involvement, Harold gifted Greenstone staff to the Amphata as a symbolic but important gesture. So good. I mean, nice. That's all I wanted to know about the staff, actually.
Indeed.
Anyway, you stay.
Farewell.
And you with us. We are about to eat some meat. We're gonna rest, athletic and constitution goes up, and we go to the burial grounds, where Haravis will finish his quest. And we will come back for Rucana, I think. I actually don't know. I don't think about it. Didn't we take those? Doesn't matter. Court of Ethok or whatever he's called. Let's go and speak with him, shall we? Honestly, with that sword I thought he was wearing Redrick's armor. Standing around O still, the Amua before you is smiling boredly, showing several crooked and missing teeth, sporting a physique of a man in his prime. His worn and weathered face appeared too old for the rest of them. He was dressed in an instrument of stitches, hides and furs assembled from the mortals of wounds of animals. Dangling from his belt are a series of grisly scalps, bearing lights of human, Adrian and dwarven, Orlan hair woven around his fingertips. He sizes me up and down, and grins, but his gaze quickly locks with Haravis, and he tilts his head as he examines the Orlan's head to toe. What do they call you, little one? You smell familiar, but your name is unknown to me.
I am Haravius, child of the Fisher Crane, adept of the Hawk and Ivy, wanderer of Eretha. Too formal?
His voice was loud and triumphant, though as soon as he's done introducing himself, he took a step back and whispered to me. Hello. The man ahead of you clenched his throat. A flamed rumble came across his chest, and for a moment his hair stood perfectly to an end. Haravis, fitting, he held out the right hand and flexed his finger. Long back talons sprout from under fifth and guards fragments. He rolled his hand back and inhaled deeply, sighing with a smile at some perceived scent needed to bring friends with you. He remained silent, but watched them both. I allowed my eyes to relax until my mind is attuned with the invisible hum of a soul. The Amwa projects a dazzling display of red, gold, and orange Adam Haln surround his massive form. Where his feet touched the ground, I saw a network of roots and veins entrail for his feet and sink deep into the earth. Turning to Haravis, I saw a glowed root emerge from his feet, a pairing of a mirror image to the Strandlos traditions from Santhrad. These roots of soul energy meet between the two men and then snake deep into the earth in one twisted root. I sensed that these men were distinct souls, but only one shared a past. The two men are a reply fork in an otherwise unbroken line. The two of you share the same past, though you carry distinct souls, and I also see that you are not alone either. A shared past, an entangled analogy. Who I was in my past life was diminishing in my cycle of rebirth, squandered so that this runt could have half lived. Runt! Haravis' broad flurry under his clutches, fist so tightly, I heard a cacophony of clacking finger joints, like this. I think. Yeah. You know how difficult that was for me? And it's not your soul. It's not exactly. His anger flattened as he stumbled over his thought. What do you want with Haravis? Same as he wants from me, no doubt. Completion. Gawain gifted us both with the strips of a true predator. It is our purpose to erase the weak, ensuring only the strong will have our aid. We must honor our gods, my god by doing the hound's deed. Let us determine who bears the right to be Glenfatton's harbinger. We can best him. Just say the word. Barabbas grew. His fur bristles for a moment, shines with luminescent tendrils of yellow and orange. I asked to be a hunter, a regular hunter that gets invited to chase down dinner and eat its neck. I didn't ask for this. Whale has led you to this moment, for you to understand, not to whinge. A fair criticism. The rabbit chuckled. He ran his hand along the band of his eye. His finger stopped to trace the silver embroideries of whale that rest over the ruined eye. After a silent moment, his posture snapped to attention and a smile came over his face. Well, I'm glad we came. His tone is surprisingly upbeat. Gawain gave me a gift. My tribe doesn't agree with it. What's done is done. He looked at Samden and scratched his chin. And if erasing the soul cousin of mine is what I must do to be greater, well, I guess. That's not kind of a gesture I'm seeking. And you think you can just walk away from me? If Horavis has no need for your quarrel, then neither do I. Fools, I'll fist on your organs. Knock him down. Take this one out. This one's yours. Take him out, and you attack this guy.
Hey.
Nice eating there. This one's yours. Take them all down. Oh, did you shoot him? Good. Either, this is for you, and I, myself, am going to hit you with my sword. Oh, you're dead already. Wow, I never thought you'd be so pathetic. Horavis panted and whistled. His own good eye locked on Sanjian's corpses. Blood and sweat dripped down from his fur, and he rocked back and forth on the balls of his feet, as though expecting the body to stand up again. How do you feel?
Amused, I suppose. Wild showed me that Galawain was answering my prayers. He made me the great hunter that I wished to be. The mauling wasn't a punishment, just a very, very hard test. And I think Wild showed me just now what I will become if I let this facet of my life be all-consuming.
So are we done here then?
Yes, I've had enough of Galawain's tests and trials. Even if I could best every other man that wears the Autumn Stelgar mantle, what's the point? My heart isn't in the hunt like it used to be. Which is almost a shame, since I'm a pretty amazing and modest hunter. But to answer your question, yes, I'm done here. Before the vultures get to him, figured I should take a reminder.
As he started to walk away, he abruptly whirled to his feet, muttering. He walked over to Sancho's corpses and placed his hand in the dead man's mouth and tugged with all his might. Tendons and crackles ripped the tear with wet, graspy crumple of blood, until at last the man-built is torn free. He said with a blustering smile that I figure I should take a reminder, as he examined the blood-soaked trophy. Traitor's Merit. Fitting. Ring of Deflection. Oh yeah, that really helped you there. Once owned by a Derian lord named Yangdur, Traitors, Madrid, earned its title during the War of Defiance. Yangdur's troops, beaten and shattered by Hadred's forces, knew they were on the losing side of the war. Igandro called for parley and stuck on a cord. His soldiers would take up arms for Halberd in return for clemency. Yangdru then turned his weapon and his remaining forces upon the former allies. plunking them as they focused their attention upon Hundred, caught unaware by Imperial forces, suffered a terrible loss during the enclosing chaos. Despite his effort, neither Ingandro nor his troops lived to see the end of the war. His infamy, however, survived, and he is not fondly remembered by those on either side of the conflict. Is that a two-handed axe? Yes.
Slow and silent.
Well, not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, what's wrong next? Let's see, no question remaining, so let's go to the Council of Stars and finish this once and for all. Maybe, we'll see. If time allows us to, we will finish this. Helm's Reach, that's where we need to go. There was also this Ice Palace we need to visit. That'd be cool. Alrighty.
Slow and silent.
Luminescent address shard. Take this. 10 years of dawn. Correspondence in Glenfathian Ivan. Final Journey of Jonas. Yeah, whatever. Let's see what we remember from the books we've read.
This tower has far outlived its builders. But is it all that remains of them?
Well, first of all, Ondra. With the Griff Bearers. In the nearby collision, you can make out the shape of a strange horned beast. From time to time, you think you sense a faint chill emanating from the shrine itself. That's Rhyme Guard. We don't need that. The response from Whale. Whitaker. I knelt before the shrine and prepared to recite the ritual words. That's from Abaddon. That's for Ondra. That's for Whitaker, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's see what the other shrines are. In the glittering stars of the nearby collision, you see the grim shape of a skull, its jaws open. Barren. Okay, what were the other ones? Yliel? Gawain. I remember Gawain. I knelt before and prepared to recite the ritual words. Struggle is our fundamental nature. Survival begins with strength from within. The air around me stirred, and a gust of warm wind blowed across the back of my neck. I catch a faint smell of wet earth. As I kneel in front of the shrine, I felt myself pushed forward. I caught myself in my hands and knees, feeling warm, damp ground beneath them. Looking around, I found myself crouching in the cleansing of the middle of the wood. The smell of dirt rings heavy in the air. I felt certain that this is a vision, but the hairs on my neck and my neck still rise. Something lifts from the bushes. I find myself bent on my back and staring into the amber eyes of a massive hound. The beast looked at me, galloping flanks produced from its sides of its mouth. Its nose twitches and inhales my scent, staring at my shoulders and proceeding down the length of my arm. I follow its nose to my hand, which is covered in blood. A tongue as red as a marley and stick hollow out of its mouth and swipe your body hand. Its lip curl into what looks like a smile. The beast looks back at me, and as it fixes me with glowing eyes, its muzzles retreat into a long, bearded face, and pointed ears legitimate during one of the sides of the head. What was a massive hound became a giant of a man, his broad musculate shoulders wrapped with furs. He held a flint knife on my neck and grinned, revealing a row of long pointed teeth.
Tread carefully. Let my face be a warning sign to always treat Galawain and his messengers with caution and reverence.
You have slain 2 mighty hunters. Blood flows in the maw, yet no victor emerges. Why have you denied me my champion?
If both beasts were too weak, then neither was worthy.
Worthiness is proven in conflict. Might grappling with might. Flesh tears, bones break, and the ones that mend are stronger still. Blood mixes, and the worthier substance rises to the top. And you have proven worthy.
He let out a howl that rings through the air. He lowered his head, puffed the steam rising from the piping mouth. Twigs crunch, the breeches snap. The ground shivers under the weight of the pacing, following footsteps. A dozen beasts, bears, wolves, and long-faced cats stalk out of the underground. Their matching amber eyes fast on me. Magnificent. Is it though? As the beast encircled me, their master raised to his feet. Even the largest of the bears could only reach his brown and muscle-gnawed shoulder. I stood, midful of the ring of predators surrounded.
You sought and won the favor of Galawain. What new prey do you now pursue?
You already know whom I seek.
To track a quarry, you must understand its movements. And Theos follows the path of a more powerful master.
A warm breeze carried the smell of smoke and gunpowder. Sparks ignite the float in the drift, catching the lives of Gawain's head. A sudden blast of heat scalded me, and even as I turned away, a flash of light seared my vision throughout my eyelids. When I looked back, I saw a woman in full plate standing next to Gawain. Her mirror-polished armor flickered with images of reflections. I could see her face, but her voice was strong and clear, like a ringing of a steel.
Let him know his foe.
Theos has trapped thousands of souls in sun and shadow like rabbits in a snare. Now, he goes there to retrieve the kill for his master Woodica.
One of the bears pounded at the ground. In irritation, its hackles raised.
She will feast on them, suck their marrow, grow strong on their essence.
Why would Theos help Woodica?
Because he is her hound. He has always done her bidding.
Woodica stands for an old order. So does Theos.
Magron. Abaddon. A golem made of blackened pitted iron stepped out of the Margan's shadow. Its movements are now slow, yet precise, each footfall accompanied by a groaning and gritting of metal. The steady orange glow of furnace caused the emanates on its eyes, soaked. In Abaddon's scared, yet efficient form, I saw an uncanny resemblance to the eyeless, yet his limbs were more finely wrought, his joints more flexible. I also felt the essence of the eyeless teeming with him.
They both fear change, and the Deerwood has changed much recently. People find answers not in the gods, but in animancy, the product of their own labors.
And why not? When they have learned that even a god can be killed.
She says that like wasn't her followers that unleashed the Godhammer. You haven't done anything to stop Theos.
There is a pact. One Woodica herself has just barely kept. We gods must allow mortals to direct their own affairs.
This limit keeps peace between us.
So Woodica directs Theos, and he does her will.
It is not our fight.
Animus doesn't seem to trouble you. The three gods seem to look at one another. One of the wolves sits, scratches its neck, with quick stroke of his hind leg.
The clash of ideas, the search for answers and meaning. These are other hunts.
Oh, shut up.
This is the destiny of Kith, to struggle and transform, even through animancy.
And to improve. Steady labor and earnest industry elevate Kith above Wilder and Beast. It is also useful that they should learn to improve their souls, whether through struggle, transformation, or labor. On this, at least, we have no disagreement.
What should I do about it?
Track Theos. Follow the trail he has left for you, and corner him in sun and shadow.
You must stop him before he empowers Woodica.
And if you do, you will have a different decision to make.
I have a really bad feeling that this decision is a trap. I mean, how often do the gods really leave the decisions up to mortals like us?
It is still my decision, Caravis.
Souls were ripped from the world, ripe and full and pulsing with essence. Scatter them like bones to a pack of dogs. Their essence will strengthen the souls of the Deerwood. Let the remains of the dead feed the survivors.
I don't see why I should care.
Because your soul will be at her mercy, and already you know too much.
Woodica will not keep the pact. She will interfere with mortals the very way we have always avoided. Your development will no longer be in your own hands.
Stagnation. You will be caged and stunted.
If Woodica can accomplish this, then perhaps she deserves her victory. To make a sound point, if she is victorious, then she will prove herself most capable and most devious of the gods. Gawain teaches that one ought to celebrate the fittest in any struggle, but what good could possibly come of Woodica's plan succeeding? The bear at Gawain's side raised to its hind legs, and roared. It fell back on the floor, with the ground shaking thud. Gawain pointed his chipped flight dagger at me.
A victory that leaves her ruler of all. No room for conflict, no struggle, not even between the gods.
I still don't see the bloody problem there. This is your problem, isn't it?
Be careful what you wish for, mortal. Woodica's ways are regressive. Her laws never change, her authority never ebbs, and she never forgets a slight.
Woodica would crush the Deerwood simply out of vengeance for the rebellion against Adir, her favorite. She would stamp out Animancers, Godslayers from the Saints' War, and anyone else she viewed as heretical or dangerous.
Sounds like a Theotis, isn't it? Be a justice for the Burgess to see some of the prosecutors face her wrath, but not the right kind of justice, not the kind that heals. Why would I feed the lost soul essence to the rest of Direwood?
To breed strength. Power is born from the mixing of essence and blood.
The wolf snarled and snapped.
What Theos did cannot be undone. Thousands of lives have changed, and thousands more have ended because of his actions. But transformation gives purpose to trial.
And improvement is the goal of all Kith. Long lives, prosperous futures, stronger minds and bodies. Strengthening those who remain will help repair the damage that Theos has done to the Deerwood.
Abaddon, I thought you served the cause of preservation.
Essence cannot remain in a dead body, any more than oil in a broken jar. Even though the stolen lives cannot be preserved, their essence can be used to ensure the survival of the Deerwooden remnant. Thus, the memory and vision of the lost may live beyond them. This is the nature of preservation.
I just simply have to find Theos now.
And when you descend the pit to Sun in Shadow, you can count on our assistance to see you safely through. As I hope we can count on yours when you reach the bottom. There are many souls upon the Burial Isle that are sworn to serve us. They belong to you now, and they shall guide your descent.
The beasts grew restless, pawing in the ground, eyeing with renewed interest. The boar sniffed the ground next to my leg. One Stagler skulked into the cycle, its ember eyes glowing. Gawain hurls its knife between your feet, sinking it into its handle. He raised his empty hand.
Hunt him, mortal. And when you stop him, let the souls he has captured feed the Deerwood.
Strengthen the souls of those who remain. Prepare them to face the challenges that will follow. Pledge that you will do this, and we will grant you a power fit for the finest warrior who ever lived.
Betray us, and my beasts shall track you down. Our allegiance is not to be accepted and cast aside.
My friend, this is a most auspicious moment. The Lord of the Hunt has spoken to you without omission or riddles. Heed what he said about his beast seeking you out should you stray from the task, for it is not an empty promise.
I would hear what the other gods have to say first.
Consider and calculate, but decide.
Gawain's hand fell on the growing pack, launched into the cycle. The vision vanished in an instant, returning me to Tear Evran, where burning candles replaced the glowing eyes of Gawain's beasts. Yay! Bandits! Yliel. So we actually have 1, 2, 3. Did I miscount it? Okay. Rimgrand. Let's see, where was Rimgrand? Yura's brother, or was it sister? I thought it's proper service to well, I don't care. Many faces of Barrett. Do we know where... do we have Barrett here? That's Yliel. Yes, we do have Barrett. Okay, let's take a look. How fitting that we know the gods of Psycho, Doorways, Mortality, and Inevitability, Berarp, while the Valiants know the very same god, Chironon. I remember, the god of life and death and rebirth. Okay, let's see. That's Yliel. All things can be reforged. Again, that's Abaddon. There is life in death, and death in life. All life ends in stillness. My words seem to fade once voiced, as if they were cast into a vast emptiness. The hull glows deadly, with still and silent, and then the ground starts to tremble beneath my feet. Oh. Okay, guess that wasn't the right thing to say. Never mind, everyone. We have killing to do. Get to it.
Yes?
Let's take a look at that again, shall we? Many faces of Barrett. Death in life in Glafan Town. Life in death. And death in life. I kneeled to pray to Barrett, even while my eyes are closed. I saw a road that seemed to stretch on forever. The stars wheel overhead in a clockwise rotation of constellation, disappearing over the horizon. To my left, only to rise to my right. I try to make out the details on either side of the road, but my eyes can't seem to focus. One moment I think I see a meadow blanked with mist and another sheer canyon walls. For just an instant I even see the waves lapping in the edges of the road. Were you to step into the shift's landscape, I felt certain I would only end up back on the road. I know this is a vision, but the packed dirt feels firm beneath my feet and the night's air cool as my face. I am walking. My feet seem to carry me forward, their own accord. Something looms ahead of me. As I got closer, I saw two stone figures that look strangely familiar. Yeah, I know. I remember the door of Kalang's Relak and the two figures carved into the mountain next to it. One looked vaguely male and the other vaguely female. They are skeletons, vaguely female. There is a difference between a male and female skeleton. Still. Only a thin layer of flesh covers their skeletal bodies, which with face the doorway between them. The doorway, however, is not what I saw in the ruins. It's a skull gaping with the jaws, and as I looked on, its open mouth seemed to glow. The arms of the two stone sculptures are swept through the mouth, inviting me in. Nah. Zawa turned around and begins to laugh. He applauded. Oh, this is very good. Yes. I turned only to see the same scene at the other end of the road. The jawless skull flanked by two skeletal Afingis. As I looked on, the sculptures turned their heads toward me. Their fingers slowly curled back at me. Interesting. Turn again. And again. Fine, I guess I don't have a choice here. The road continued through the mow to another shifting landscape, surrounded by stars as I passed through it. I saw an identical doorway in the distance. A dwarven man stood near, unmoving. I moved towards to take a closer look behind me, only to see a scout gate I just passed facing me. An elven woman awaits the road. Like the dwarf, she stands still. Okay, let's talk to the woman. I start towering her. There is something unnatural about the way she stands. She's too still. When I get closer, I saw her legs tapered into slender shrug, and in place of her face a gnarled, twisted root. She lifted her face to an invisible sun. Her long golden hair is the color of an autumn leaf, and as I looked on, I realized that her head is actually covered with tenacious and vines, sprouting brilliant yellow leaves, each glimmering with essence of an entire soul. I remember the golden grove as well. She gave me a benefic smile. As I looked on, the leaves slowly fell from her head and settled to her roots. They melted into the path beneath her, and almost immediately new leaves sprang out in place of the old ones. She reached toward me, still smiling as the roots sprang from her fingertips. Her outstretched arms barred the path. Come, craft your soul to the golden grove. I don't want to touch you. Should I attack her? Yes! You swing at her, trying to knock her arm away from you, yet as I blow connect, I felt her skin grow rigid and cold, her outstretched arm petrified, as I thought stone breaks overtakes her flesh. She could only look in horror. Her feet are rooted in place, but she twists and wriggles as if trying to feel her own dying limb. The petrification reached her shoulder and spread down her body, freezing in the painful arc. It crept up her neck, and she throwed her face skywards like a drowning swimmer. The grayness covered her face, freezing her gasp in stone. Now that she is still and lifeless, I could continue past her. Only the golden leaves of her hand remained untouched, and as I watched, they fell one by one on the path below. They shivered, and shimmering essence faded from them. I left my gaze and saw the dwarven man standing further down the road, so I approached. I continued down the road towards him. He looked up as I approached, but I couldn't tell if he is looking at me or through me. His face is smooth but facet, as if his flesh has detached from the muscle underneath. As I looked on, his face began to change. Wrinkle cracked on the corner of his eyes. His mouth sinks, carving deep lines from the nose to the corner of his lips. His jaws sag, and the loose flesh hanged like a bow. He raised his coupled hand. They are covered in blood. He lifts them to his face and smeared himself from his newly caressed forehead to the rest of his neck. As he massages the dark, sticky fluid into his skin, the flesh wrinkles disappear, the hanging fold recede, and his flesh tighten if he readjusts to his skull. He lifted his head, and this time I know he was looking at me. His renowned face looks like a mask, artificially smooth and still. Behind it, his black eyes are two hungry pits, yawning like an empty mouth of skulls. Come, make your sacrifice to Eric Null. His body blocked the path. He extended the bloody hand toward me. I struck out and surprised how easy his flesh gave beneath my blow. He tripped like a dyed canvas, following a long seam, and begins to his arm, and struck the lead of his body. Blood gushes forth such quantities that I couldn't imagine there's ever anything else in him. Sure enough, the dwarf empties of blood and collapsed like a descent husk. The blood in the path glams with 1,000 soul worth of essence. The essence evaporates, trailing shining filaments into the night sky. Only now that he is dead, I can continue onwards. The blood pools around my feet, and the voice echoed along the road, barely more than a whisper of the breeze. Return them to the wheel. I looked up and saw a scout gate ahead of me. The candles of Time Everon wink throughout the open mouth, and so I left. What a dork. We know about Gawain, Yliel, and Rembrandt. The queen that was, and still is. Vedica. Midwife's memories. The queen of birds. Margan. Sermon and struggle. This is again for Margan. Gawain the hunter. You know, out of all of them, Gawain is the one I remember the most. Scow's embodiment. I become a thingy. We don't have Scow, do we? We know about Will as well. Barrett, we know about Barrett. Yotus. Ondra. Ah, there we go. Raingrant and Barrett. He is the symbol of death and doom in every culture. The child with 4 winters under his belt needs no introduction to the ancient symbol. Okay, Raingrant, time to speak with you, shall we? There is life in death, and death in life. Survival begins straightened from within. All life ends in stillness. This time I have to be right? I felt a sudden gust of cold air as if shrines were bursting into the twined life. The frigid wind cuts through me like a sharpened blade, and darkness encroaches upon the edges of my sight. I kneel and close my eyes. As I pray, the blackness faded to white, and howling wind fouled my ears, the vision that slowly resolved itself to a bored frozen plain. I see a procession of elves in the distance, periodically fading into the emerging from the wetness. They crunch over snow blanket, their heads down against the driving wind. This is the way that went. As they talk past me, one man, Bubbles in furs, turns his head. You heeded for Noonfrost, and the Frost Hound breach too. Before I could answer, he lumbered ahead. I followed the cavern. In a couple of minutes, I came to a wall of ice. It disappeared into a pale emptiness, overlapping and stretching as far as I could see. In either direction, the elves stopped in front of the mirror smooth, in section that formed like a temple door. It seemed somehow thinner than the rest of the wall. I could not see what's on the other side, but a deliberate cold eminence from within. The elven pull a pickaxe and a shovel from their sealskin bags and begin hatching at the smooth ice, their impellent flying through the air in a swift, shivering arc. Though they throw their bodies into their labor, not one of them so much as scratches the polished ice, yet with each blow something below in its distance. Whatever this is, it's huge and angry, and it's coming our way. Hey, you might wanna hold off on that. The elves hack away, seemingly oblivious of the furious walling, and to the tremors under their feet. Just wait. I watched as the elf continued to work his eyes. They pay no heed to the rumbling roar of the numbling wind. Their movement, however, gradually slow. They labor in the ice with absolute sluggish movement until they finally freeze in place, some mid-swing, others prepared for the next blow. Why should I touch it? Anyway, I touched the elf nearest to me, and he crumbled into a mound of snow. The final gale blew past, scattering the remains of the elves in a chaotic flurry. I noticed a single spider web cracking in the smooth barrier. It's the only thing that mars the perfect surface of the ice. You mean marks? Whatever on the other side of this strange doorway, I felt it thugging to me. Only when I took another look and another step back, and I saw a parallel gash tailing behind my legs. In the snow, I realized how strong its pull was.
My end comes to all things in time. Seal the frost-hewn breach and instruct the pilgrims in the patience of Remergond.
Plug the hole with a handful of snow. I filled my hand with the snow and shoved it into the crack. It hardened instantly, and hard grime grew over the smooth surface of a frozen doorway, fusing it with the rest of the wall. When I took away my hand, a perfect crystal of ice remained in my palm. As I examined the crystal, the vision around me faded, and an unmelted shred of ice remained in my hand. Now I knew what I needed to do for you. I think I'm going to help Raymond with his quest of absolute destruction. We prayed to the Tarot. And now Yliel remains. Yliel, that's all we need to know. God of Code. Ondra. Eotus. You know, Eotus isn't gonna speak with anyone. Eora. Tomorrow my master chokes on his words. That's for Scan. The Hand of Code. Or was it Sister? May later find you well spirits. I thought it proper service well to steer this man towards the illuminated manuscript. Okay. The Hunt. That's definitely for Gawain. Focus and efficiency. All runs can be reforged into lessons. Abaddon rebuilt himself from the ruins. Chaotic in a luxury, we earn peace. Struggle is our foundation. Even when our banners sit idle, making fortune's pride, fiends argue with fists. You know, I honestly don't think we should have had those books. I mean, not here at least. Maybe in a library outside of town if you are lazy enough to look there, instead of going to dungeons and collecting them all. That's for margin. Dear sister, Wedica teaches. Fine. Pray to Helia. Struggle is our fundamental nature. That is for Abaddon. Live every note of life's song. I kneel. While I pray, I felt the peace around my body shift and melt, and I found myself in a vision of mountain-capped temple. A tree grew in the center of the ancient ruin, limp warmth around the perimeter. You know, I actually want to take a look at something. So if I go here, because there is lore, and there is also deities. Goddess of Sky. Oh, right. Yliel, the goddess of sky. A sing sparrow lands on the nearest branch and watches me. I kneel. While I pray, I felt a space around my body shift and melt as I find myself in the vision of a mountaintop temple. A tree grows in the center of the ancient ruin, a limp wrap around the perimeter of the temple, tapering into the twigs of the branches of all sizes and angles. They seem too long and too numerous to be held up by the anger tongue. but they hold steady in the breeze. A single sparrow lands on the nearest branch. It watched me. Whistle to the bird. I whistled the first tune that popped into my head. Yeah, I can't whistle. The sparrow blinked its barley eyes and hopped closer to me along the branches. Why do I say breeches? Something is stuck in my head. I don't know even what that word means. It bobs its tiny head and opens its back and the reach. Thrilling melody that spills forth in the song of charros and birds. A massive flock descends into the thunders of wings and whooping, screeching, tripping calls. They fill the boughs of the tree by 1,000 birds of every shape, size, and color, nestling next to one another. A breeze ripples through the air, the limes away, crackling with a strange, gentle rhythm. A few hundred of the birds fly to their branches, forming a brilliantly variegated flock in front of the tree. As they meet, the swoop is in unison. I caught a glimpse of someone looking back at me, cloaked by a flurry of feathers.
You journeyed to my temple and rid it of the dragon. Now my faithful may return, singing their joy to the skies and praising me through their creation.
I just wanted to kill a dragon.
You thirst for blood and glory, then. Yet even your passion for violence and death can be channeled to protect life. I would have you face an even greater foe.
I am listening. The birds returned to the tree, nestled amongst their peers. The breeze rippled through the branches again, carrying the goddess's voice.
You must stop Theos, and you must undo the tragedy he has wrought.
Birds all over the trees began to trip and sing in their rise and fall of their voices. Helios spoke. Theos acts, but its movement is moved by another. The exiled queen whispered in her ear, urges him to rob the living and unborn of their souls for her benefits, and he has obeyed. She will consume them, grow powerful while 1,000 empty children are born. But there is still time to reverse this tragedy. You can't stop Theos on your own. All of the gods, even Whitaker, are bound by an oath. We sing one harmony, and kids sing another, and though we may introduce new melody in hopes that mortals' ears will hear it and sing is back, we do not interrupt their chorus. To do so would unleash a cacophony between the gods, one that would overwhelm our song and yours. But Whitaker sings her tune to Theos. I will likewise sing mine to you. It sounds like Theos has collaborated with her a long time. You know already that he has lived many lives. In each of it he has been her voice in his ear, guided him in serving her ambition, urging him to protect her interests. And each of these lives has been one stanza after another in a song of devotion to the Oldbinder. Why would Whitaker do this? Because they prize authority over mercy, law over king. She values the souls of mortals not for the beauty of their create, but for what they can add to her power. She fears animancy. She believes that mortals may use it to usurp the gods' powers. Isn't that exactly what you did? Never mind. Her power. She cares nothing for the innovation of Kith. And how could she? She gives command, not inspiration. How could I return things to the way they were? Guide the tripled souls back to the bodies they were stolen from, hollow-born children whose eyes have never seen the sun. You could restore them, give their families hymns of joy after years of lament, peace and restoration, give purpose to suffering. There is no meaning to no redemption in pain, and does not lead to fulfillment. Symmetry demands that the great rejoice follow suffering such as this. You are the gods, all-powerful and all-giving. Why should I do your job for you? I have no interest in these souls. Thank you, Hela. I will continue to stand in shadow.
When you reach the Burial Isle, you will find souls there that I have granted reprieve for their sins. I give these to you, for only they can bear you to safety on your journey down. And when you face Theos and the rotting fruits of his endeavors, remember the conversation we have had. In that moment, you will have power rivaling a god's. And after it, you will live in the world that you have chosen. Choose Restoration, Watcher. Return the souls to the bodies they were stolen from. Swear to me that you will do this, and I shall give you power to make even Woodica quake. I can be merciful and terrible, Watcher.
And at that moment, I knew for certain that I would not help her. For you see, even a god who threatens me can be killed. I would hear the other gods first. Hear then, and choose. Oh, the birds spread their wings and take flight. As they flock the swarm around me, I again glimpsed at someone watching me from within the maelstrom of feathers. Her glance is full of compassion and hope. The birds rise towards the sun. They blot out the remaining island, reminding me for an instant of a dragon and a shadow. But when my vision is cleared again, I was standing in Tyr Avron. Cool. Yeah, this was a long episode, mostly because words, many words. Lover's Light, quest expires in 2 days. How many turns is there even enough? Lover's Light. Yeah, cards go. Oh dear, so 4 turns. Why do you even give me generic quests when there are those who are not generic to do? Or was it actually not possible to have this quest before speaking with the gods? Whatever the case, I think I'm going to end this episode here. So thank you all for joining me, and I'm gonna see you all next time. Goodbye.